Yes. Yes, this is difficult. I think a lot about Julia Measures, who was one of my most revered teachers, who used to say, give me 20 treatments, I'll tell you the CF. Which I love that she, one of the most experienced and exquisite practitioners, said that. This is a path of humility. This is not a path for know-it-alls. This is a path of doing our best, seeing how that goes, and then keeping an open mind. That's not the full answer, but it is the most important part of my response. If we are in fact treating the emotion of somebody's trauma rather than their constitution, the good news is eventually that'll start to clear up as we treat it. And then one day we'll go, oh my God. Oh, for crying out loud. That was all because of your uncle. And now we have this other thing happening. So that's not so bad as a worst case scenario, is that you spend time on a distressed element or a within rather than the constitution. It's not terrible. It's pretty good. How do we potentially cut to the chase? This has to do with in ourselves being practiced at knowing I'm engaging the way level now. That's who I'm cha-chaing with. Then, taking me a moment to go there. Oh. Then being clear when we're coming into the yin level to be with someone, to meet them there. That's where the trauma is going to be in the yin. That's where congealed blood is. And so if that's what we're interacting with, is the yin level, we're going to get the color, sound, odor, and emotion of the yin level and diagnose that element, which is not a terrible thing. If we are practiced, give me a moment, oh Lord, at being able to find who we are in the place that's deeper than anything that's happened to us in this life. And my who I am has a lot of metal. And so when I'm there, I get a little bit straight and solemn. Let me see if I can impersonate a fire constitution such that there's that ebullient sun even in the depths. When we are in our yuan level, connecting from that level, and we're with the color, sound, odor, and emotion that comes up on that level, we're with the constitution rather than the trauma. Is this easier said than done? Yes. Is the practice that which calls us to life even more fully in an endless wild jungle playground of wonders? Yeah. And give me 20 treatments, I'll tell you the CF. That's going to be my response for now. Because I personally am terrified, you guys are fabulous, but I'm terrified anyway because I'm teaching a class on Zoom and I think it's outrageous. So because I'm terrified, I want to start first with the water body because it will really help me. So really feel for it in yourselves. This is a do-it-yourself thing. So it's not really about watching me do it. It's not spectator. See more with your heart than with your eyes. Check out the room that you're in so that you're really in your connection with heaven and earth. Take a look around. This is all very real where you are right now. So that you can feel your weight where you are, on your chair, bed, couch. Be the boulder at the bottom of the ocean. heavy. And see if you can feel for, especially with your classmates here, the sense of them also being underwater with you. Do your best not to picture it. Like, let me see if I can do it. It's like, I'm imagining myself at the bottom of the ocean. The third eye gets very active. Better to have your eyes at least partially open for two reasons. One, it will help you out of the temptation to imagine rather than embody. One of the biggest temptations is to imagine it rather than embody it. And the other thing is, if you plan to do most of your intakes with your eyes shut, by all means, keep them shut now. However, if you think that you're going to be doing your intakes with your eyes open, as awkward as it feels to be feeling for how do I embody weight, not imagine it, but embody it with my eyes open, steer into the skid, go with the awkwardness. Yeah, yeah. When we are wishing to be a reassuring presence, which is the dance music that water most appreciates, is reassurance. What we are wanting to do is connect with the bedrock of the mystery and settle there in the unknown. Because reassurance is not, okay, every single element has the thing that you're supposed to give to it. And the thing you're supposed to give water is reassurance. Every single element has a symptomatic version of that. Symptomatic reassurance, it'll be fine. You'll do great. Anybody who said to me before this class, when I said I'm terrified shitless, I've never done this, with new people, da 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 da, who said, you'll be great. I just wanted to kill them. Like, that helps you sleep at night. You'll be great. It'll be really good. You're wonderful. It's fun. It's like, you can do it. That's symptomatic reassurance. It does not bring us from fear to wisdom. Real reassurance is that which helps us settle right there in the midst of our fear into the unknown, where we're actually in touch with our resources. What are my resources? I don't know, but I got it. It's the base, it's also the back body, it's the bladder meridian. As you sit, as you hold steady and make invitation to each other at the bottom of the ocean, saying, join me here at the bottom of the ocean. Can you feel your utility belt on your hips? That's what makes the hips heavy, is that weight of gifts that your ancestors gave to you, that you do not know what they are, but you are filled, your water is filled with the gifts of your ancestors. And whoever you are sitting with, you can do it with all of your class right now. They have ancestors. Everybody you sit with in water, they have ancestors. And you may or may not know your ancestors' names, but they know your name. They're behind you, where your bladder meridian can feel them. They're in your kidneys. Yeah, there we go. The reconnection with ancestry is a big part of reassurance. I'm not talking about doing 23andMe. I'm talking about just sitting where your back can feel them behind you. And your tool belt can feel what they've given you, that you don't even know what it is. Yeah, that's reassurance. That's sitting in the dark, even with fear, feeling like, okay, I don't even know what I got, but I got something. Let's listen. I would reassure people with the presence of calling to what our resources are and coming into the physiological. I will get to the grief, I promise. We can't tell anybody what to do. And we can't solve any of their problems. I hate that, but I accept it. What we can do is help them get into the physiological state where they are most capable of coming up with an appropriate, a heart-centered response to their own life. When in fear, people get uprooted and out of touch with their resources. Then they do crazy things and they get themselves sick. Their decision-making process is not so great. They're very reflexive. What we're wanting to do is help them come back in touch with their resources, most of which are invisible and that they do not know, and help them come into the body shift that says, yup, fear, got that. Yup, sense of connection to the deep ocean and my weight, so that I can turn this fear towards the heart and do some of the deepest listening I have ever done. Because it really does matter. The danger, there are real dangers. There's also phantom dangers. But when we come in and help people body shift into reassurance, the real dangers don't go away. We're just more in a place to be able to say, okay, here's what I got. Here's my next step. This is a short answer. It's because if we go really all the way into reassurance, what we're really doing is bringing people into the body state where they can feel what their destiny's next move is. I'm here. The Tao put me here and I'm the other half of the Tao. I am the matching other half of my life. What is my authentic next move? That's wisdom. That's destiny. That's not the eradication of fear, but the turning it towards the deep listening so that I can come forth as who I really am. I'm saying some intense things in very short periods of time. So there's the rough and ready frontier version is helping people settle with weight so that they can respond to fear in a healthy way. That enough for the fear part of it for now? If you're not satisfied, I don't blame you. Give a try to that mutual settling in the dark. Because it is an emergency, but even in emergency, we need to be moving like a martial artist, not like a panic attack. Yeah. Let's take the elements backwards so that we can go from here to grief. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What is offered to metal is said to be acknowledgement. There's a bullshit symptomatic version of that too. Oh, you look great. Paying compliments is the symptomatic version of acknowledgement. Actually, it is so annoying because it's basically an imposition of your value system on somebody else's value system. When we are in grief, we are in the opportunity for reclamation of our values and realignment with our values. Again, the most important thing is this reclamation of values attempting to happen in loss of heart or in heart? Many of the people that I'm meeting in fear and grief these days, the issue is not fear and grief. The issue is actually loss of heart, such that they're incapable of processing their fear and their grief in a healthy way. So helping them make that contact with heart again, like, yes, we're afraid. There's reasons. Yes, we're grieving. There's reasons. While connecting from that light that comes from beyond, making enough room is crucial. When there is heart, grief is revealed as probably the most severe form of love that there is. Grief is love when it hurts. The opposite of grief is whatever. Yeah, so I lost my dad, I lost my dog, I lost my job, I lost my this, my mom is that, whatever. No, hell no, whatever. I want to stay right here and continue to love what I love even when I lost it. That's a commitment. That's a kind of integrity and uprightness to say, this is what I value, even when it hurts. When this is felt in heart space, I feel the strength of my own soul. That's acknowledgement. This is what I love. This is what I care about. It's what we do at funerals when we do them well, is we talk about all the things about this person that we love and value, so that we're putting it out in the air. We're saying, I love that kind of sense of humor. I love it when it's here, and I love it when it's not here. I love that kind of bravery. I love everything that we name, that's acknowledgement. We're saying, this is what I value when it's here and when it's not here. And when it's not here, it sharpens, it ripens the void like an exhale, prepares us for the next inhale. When we are grieving well, when we are grieving as love, and please notice what's happening in my body right now so that you can follow me. It's a kind of uprightness. Lung 1 and lung 2 are opening. See if you can, if you sit slumped, you can't reckon. Sit open to the sky. Sit like a mountain, which is grounded at the bottom, but the top part goes above the clouds. Can you feel your cathedral body? Cathedrals are heavy, boom, they're not ungrounded, but their upper half opens. That's how acknowledgement can happen. That's how a real reckoning can happen. This is what I love and value. This is what this cathedral stands for. This is what I call sacred. These are my enduring values. When I say enduring values, I mean, it comes and it goes as far as its manifestation in this world, but it's not coming and going in my value system. I'm right here through all the comings and goings. This is not transient. And when we are grieving in health and we're acknowledging, opening to acknowledge the value, we are opening to be able to see examples of that value all over the place. First stage of grief, you just got to name stuff. You got to tell stories over and over again about the time when Uncle Lou did this, and you all cry about that. And you do it over and over again. And it's like a threshing out of the precious. And then you go through this period of time when you're walking down the street and you see a pigeon and it reminds you of Uncle Lou somehow. I mean, I'm being silly, but it's real, where suddenly every movie that you see and it's like suddenly they're everywhere. It's like what was so beautiful about them is like sparkles now in the air, and those sparkles are coming back to you on the next inhale. You as a griever become an appreciator of that which you grieve, such that now you notice even trace amounts of it in the world around you and can say thank you for that. You know that you're grieving in health, that you're taking the path of acknowledgement and offering the path of acknowledgement. Open. When your loss opens you to more beauty, more value, more wonder, more sense of yes to exactly what you lost, coming back in another form. So yes, offering acknowledgement. See if you can find in your that cathedral body. The cathedral body that is spacious internally and spacious externally, because lungs need to expand in order to breathe. Offering that. Upright, not collapsed, open. Bismillah. Since I have 3 other elements, I may leave it at that. Is that okay? Okay. Bismillah. Earth. Since we're going backwards, let's do earth. The thing about earth is that it's not metal. That's one thing about it. The thing about earth is it's like it's a breakfast table in your bathrobe element, basically. It's who you are. Usually your head's to the side and your body's like a sack of potatoes that just got put down somewhere. People who are very classy, you know, chic and all that stuff, have to really work on feeling like, okay, can I show up in this intake the way I would in my bathrobe around the breakfast table? And it's a schmoozy space. What we're supposed to give to Earth is sympathy. And boy, is there symptomatic versions of that. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, how awful. Sympathy with heart is that deep ecological mole space that I'm talking about. Yeah, it is hard. How hard is it? What's the hardest thing about it? Sympathy as health, earth, mole space. It's like 2 farmers meeting on the fence between my field and your field, talking about how the crops are coming along, and going, the rabbits ate the lettuce again. What about you? Well, there's raccoons in the corn. Wow, did you think of it? And there's a fellowship, a kind of fellowship of 2 farmers. You're not their mother. You're their sister or brother in a community, in a moshav, in a collective farming situation, such that you're not gonna starve yourself to feed them. That's not ecology. But you are gonna sit with them with it and mull and say, well, what are we gonna do to farm our life right now? With heart, with heart, with heart. Because a lot of the time, people will come up with really good stuff if you give them a space to consider it and mull it without having, how to say, the next thing that happens after loss of heart is often contagion of external pathogenic influences. Meaning, after having lost heart, instead of mulling healthily, we like mull. We're like, demon voices come in, the Shia energies. You'll never, you'll always, you can't, you have to. That is spooky shit. That is Shia. That is wind evil. That is like, and all those things go away when we have heart, which will include having emotion, which will include feeling like, I don't know my place in the ecology either. Can we like hunker down on either side of our fence and say, man, that's a hard thing, but we're in it together. Figure a few things out. Put it there. What fire wants is partnership. Are you guys, have I tanked you guys? Is this too much? Borderline, thank God it's ending soon. Because it's like throwing you a little over the edge. Because I'm not like, fire? All right, what fire's partnership looks like is sometimes a really deep thing. It's that sense of shared warmth, a handshake that is so simple. The thing about you that makes you a you, I care about that. I connect with that. I take joy. This one seems to be hard for us at the moment. There's a lot of emotion moving around. Fire types are really going through some very difficult times right now. So I'm belaboring it because I want us to be the healthy fire squad. Sometimes where our smile comes from is a really deep place. And it does not deny how much emotion is going on also. Yeah, thank you. I feel more of you coming in now. Handshake, from your light to my light. Handshake, from your light to my light. We're both here. It's not the mull, it's just the contact. And it's the commitment to contact. That's what makes it partnership. Some fire is just a spark, and that's great. But what fire longs for is partnership, contact that's gonna be here. Yes, exactly. Yeah, feeling you guys now much more. That, don't let the fire go out. The fire of partnership. That's what fire cares about. We may be literally dying. I'm thinking about Stephen Cowan, 5-element pediatrician and sage, who discusses with parents their children's terminal illnesses, okay? And does not let the fire go out. Do we need to be able to laugh and smile even through our children dying, our parents dying? Not every minute, but there is partnership here. There is connection here. We're not letting the warmth disappear. We are not letting the fire go out. Partnership. Yes. Okay, I'm feeling it. It's rugged sometimes, and it's good. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, elements. Here comes wood. I wanted to be a wood type so bad when I was in acupuncture school. I had a crush on the wood element that was so big. It's still pretty big. As you sit, I'm going to have you stand up in just a moment. Okay, so get ready to stand up. On your mark, get set. Okay, you really have to do it. Stand up. Go ahead. You're going to think I'm a royal pain, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Sit back down again, okay? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Stand back up. And sit back down again. Okay. And 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's wood. That's wood right there. Don't get up, but almost get up. Be ready to get up. Be ready and almost like, yeah, that's wood. Notice how your feet are pressing into the ground. Notice the relationship between your butt and the chair. Notice the loft of your rib cage. That's wood. And yeah, it is the engagement towards growth. It is the movement from the kidney to the heart. It is the movement to growing towards the light. And it's the voice of growing towards the light. And what we give to wood is direction. See if you can feel in your body. Well, bullshit direction is you should go to acupuncture school. You should do this. You should do that. The direction of wood is only one direction. You know what direction that is? It's not up. People say up. Plants grow up. It's towards the light. No matter where that light is. That's why you have to keep turning those houseplants. Giving direction means through your body. Feeling, see if you can feel it. What would it mean right now to be headed towards the light? The virtue of wood is constructiveness or benevolence. How do you get from anger to constructiveness? You say, and then you say, I'm headed for the light. From where I am right now, I'm headed for the light. How I get there, when I get there, exactly the tactics it's gonna take to get there. I don't have that clear yet. But I know where I'm headed, and I'm headed for the light. In the presence of somebody who's holding in their body direction, sense of movement towards the light, anger becomes a safe emotion to have. A lot of people have a lot of anger inside of them that they're afraid to feel, let alone express, because it feels ugly to them or destructive. And for a wood person to know that they can show up and show up angry, to be in the presence of somebody who is committed, we're headed for the light. Then it's safe to be angry, and that becomes rocket fuel for growth, for change, for revitalization. We could use it, huh? So feeling in your wood body, that feeling of, I'm headed for the light. It's a nice wood exercise. Just look yourself in the eye in the mirror and say, I'm headed for the light. It comes way before any plan. In fact, the plan only comes, a good plan only comes when we have heart and we're headed for the light. Bismillah. There was so much that Ted Kapchuk talked about that he inspired the daylights out of me. Tong Shen Ming and Wu Xing Shi Yao, which is medicine without form, how to be the medicine. But I wasn't able to find people within the Chinese medicine lineage willing to teach me how to do that. And I went to the Sufis actually. And I'm part of a Sufi lineage that, as the prophet said, seek knowledge from as far away as China. And they did that. And I've learned from the Sufis a lot of things that are true of all perennial medicines. There's not one tradition that's got it. But that's a lineage that I draw on that has helped me to open and more fully blossom in my Chinese medicine work. That's me.